Hello, world, and welcome to Pardon the Politics podcast, season 2, episode 222. Welcome.
Hey,
Welcome to another episode. I am your co-host, Jeezy, along with my brother and my partner in politics, Manny. My good brother, how are you doing on this fine day?
I'm doing well. The sun is out. It's not raining. It's not overly hot. It's one of those blissful days in North Carolina.
Which are few and far between.
Few and far between. Last time we got those temperatures, it was a layer of pollen in the sky, so there was nothing we could really do with that.
Yes, sir. It definitely has been some pretty nice weather here in North Carolina. If you are by any chance wondering how I'm doing, brother, I'm doing quite.
I was getting ready.
I'm doing quite terrible. This past weekend, I had kindergarten graduation for my youngest daughter and dance recital. I had to do the dad duty and get through dance recital rehearsal.
Not the rehearsal too.
Yeah, bro, which was about 3.5 hours of sitting there.
I mean, it can't be worse than trying to watch me a step practice.
Bro.
It can't be worse.
Right. We had a house full because family was here. So I'm tired, man. But you know what? At the end of the day, as I've always said, as much as the involved father ends up getting the short end of the stick, it's a pleasure to sit back and see your family happy, no matter how much pain and tiredness that you may have had to endure to make sure that everybody was happy. So
and it's June, and I just want to remind everyone, Father's Day is in 2 weeks.
Hey, listen, I think this weekend I think I put my work in. I put enough on paper. I put enough out on the field, brother, that I believe
cruise
that I
into
should
Father's
be
Day.
the unanimous Heisman Trophy winner.
Look, to all of our listeners out there, I just want y'all this Father's Day, put in the same effort y'all want on Mother's Day. That's all we want.
For the fathers, bro. At some point, dads, we gotta unite.
We gotta unite.
Macaroni cards, handprints that's turned into flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it ain't gonna cut it.
Don't give me socks expecting a vacation.
Nope. Neckties. I don't even wear ties. Don't give me no necktie. I need y'all to start stepping up. Teach our children, mothers. Teach our children how to properly give quality Father's Day gifts. But that's another topic for another day. As you can tell, that we are very passionate about this topic, so we're gonna leave this alone before we incriminate ourselves and get in trouble. But to our listeners, welcome to another episode of Pardon the Politics. As always, we are excited to be back doing another episode, giving you the content that you deserve in a crazy and chaotic political landscape and global world. So,
and thank you to everyone who listened to the last episode.
Oh, bro,
and our Wednesday drop, man.
Yeah,
we definitely appreciate all the love that we got from the Wednesday drop. We weren't sure how y'all were gonna turn out for this Wednesday episode, but y'all showed out. Y'all did what you do, so we deeply appreciate that.
Yes, we definitely do as well. Shout out to our listeners. You guys have, and it always, man, to me, it really just kind of takes me back to just realizing the amount of support that we have.
Yeah.
And we haven't even hit our 1-year anniversary yet. And just the love and support and the listeners and all that we get is just, we're beyond grateful to any of our listeners. Please understand, we do this, and though it is something as us being both family guys and career men, it takes some time and diligence to do this, but you guys really make it worthwhile for us to continue week after week to do the pod and these episodes, and we appreciate it. So,
and shout out to our listeners in Nevada.
Oh, bro, yes. whoever you are.
You got to hit us up, man. We got to get you some of this new merch that we're going to be dropping through the summer. Like,
yes, we got some merch that's coming, and there's one listener that is as soon as the episodes drop on Monday, he's right there,
right in
she's
there.
right there. Whoever it is right there. So please reach out to us on the pod, either on our social media or our email. Because we want to applaud you because you are setting the standard, and we like that. So
yes.
Please reach out to us so that we can get to know who you are
and get you some merch, man.
And get you some merch because you deserve it. You deserve it, whoever you are.
On the pod, on us, we're gonna get you some merch,
free of charge. So let us know who you are, that listener in what is it, Reno, Nevada?
Reno or I forget the other city.
You know who you are. You know exactly who you are in Nevada. So
you know who you're talking to. It's like that moment when the pastor be preaching and you be like, God, are you talking directly to me? Not comparing us to God, but we are talking directly to you.
Yep. So reach out to us, please.
No shade to any of our listeners in any other place.
No. But that's what it.
Nevada been rocking with us. Nevada been rocking with us. So.
Shout out to you. So please reach out to us on our socials or our email and let us know who you are so we can get some of that new merch. And to our listeners, the merch is coming. You have been put on alert. The merch is coming. So be on the lookout for some details dropping. And we want y'all to rock the merch. We got some stuff for the springs, the summer, the fall. We got some office decor. We got some everything. So we're excited about that. So at the appropriate time, we'll drop those details and you guys can get fitted up, dipped in butter with some of the podcast merchandise.
Oh, yes.
So
now that we're done with the church announcements.
Right. All hearts and minds clear. We have our first segment, and we have something queued up for you to ring us into our first segment. So let us get it, man. Drop it on us.
They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. No, I'm not a chicken. You're the chicken. 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 Mr. President, I'm not a chicken. Every time you set up a tariff, I'm not a chicken. Wall Street betting against them. Betting against them. Betting against. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say
bruh.
Taco.
Taco. Trump always chickens
out. Bruh.
So if you're not aware, there was a question that an interviewer asked Trump this past week, and they revealed to him that how does he feel about this term that he has been coined with by Wall Street as taco? And they told him, it stands for Trump always chickens out in regards to his tariffs. And Brother Trump was not.
Was unaware.
First of all,
this was news to him.
He was very unaware. He was not happy at all. And this really, and from what behind the scene reporting has stated, that this really pissed him off that nobody told him that this was going on. Because Trump's the ultimate troller.
Right.
But the fact that Wall Street is trolling you. And you can tell when they asked him because he started to get a little defensive, like, I chicken out. I chicken out.
Oh, I thought it was good negotiating.
Who's really the chicken? But they gave him this because, as we have seen and as we've covered in previous episodes, that Trump will put a tariff.
Go hard.
Then he'll pull it back. Then he'll do 145. Then he'll do 30, and then so there's this back and forth. So, with this coin of Trump and his tariff and the movement of it and how it's been going, Manny, what's our latest update on where we are with tariffs?
Well, a little known court in New York said, "Don't worry, Trump. You're not going to have to chicken out now. We'll handle it for you." But the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled that the Liberation Day tariffs were not justified in a legitimate national emergency and thus violated the separation of powers. So a little bit more information on that is Trump has used largely a couple of very specific rules that have allowed him to impose tariffs, because as you've heard other senators and congresswomen have said, is that the power of levying tariffs is on Congress.
Yeah.
So Trump has been using very specific rules, and I'll go ahead and let you know. Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. This allows him to levy tariffs on national security bases. The International Emergency Economic Powers Act. This is for national emergencies. And then Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. This is used to combat unfair trade practices.
Now, hold on, Manny. I want to stop you right there.
Please.
Now, we know that President Donald Trump is not known for
reading.
Yes. He's not known for reading. How does he know about all these?
I have a couple guesses. First, ChatGPT. That's my first guess.
Bro, can you imagine? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Pause. Can you imagine the things that Trump puts in his chat? I can only imagine the things.
But it's got to be wild.
Melania won't talk to me. How do I tell her? Can you draft me divorce papers, a sample, just so I can scare her?
Man, yeah. So basically, the Liberation Day tariffs were used under the comments of it being a national emergency. And they're like, nah, brother, y'all can't do that. So so basically what tariffs it invalidated were the 10% tariff on pretty much all foreign goods. So shout out to the island with all the penguins. Y'all won. Well, maybe. So basically it was fell back. The tariffs that were not hit were the tariffs that used the Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Acts. And those were the ones on steel and aluminum. Those were not impacted. Well, the administration completely responded like we knew they were. They appealed it, and a federal appeals court has temporarily reinstated the tariffs pending further review. So they have set deadlines for the briefs from both sides in early June. So the saga continues, but it looks like it's coming to our head right now.
Well, from what it seems like, and it appears that this is becoming a norm in this administration, when we see these various acts and whatnot that the president is using at his disposal to try to do certain things. The concern I have is that it seems that he's trying to expand the scope on things that may not necessarily be generally used or typically used for the things that he's trying to use them for.
Yes, exactly.
So, but with that, should the president be allowed to use emergency powers to somehow negotiate trade policies?
I mean, probably not. That's why, it's a power that's given directly to Congress and not to the president. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then, so here's my thing. If you're going to be in politics and you're going to feel something very, very strongly, stand on business.
Yeah.
Critique it when it helps you and when it goes against you. So if you, to your question, and I think it's a little bit broader of just, tariffs, I think it's all emergency powers and being able to use them kind of wishy-washy. So the Biden administration can be argued did the same thing with student loans.
Oh, facts.
So it's the small leveraging of rules, but I think that's also part of the game.
Okay.
I think it's part of the game. They want to kind of go through all this and just to kind of see. I think every president has tried to expand their powers in some capacity. And it's just interesting. But I think if we roll back to tariffs, what is his point?
Yeah.
I know he kind of wants to use tariffs, but even like that, levying the 10%, it doesn't make sense. And a person, and I think at this point, geez, we might as well hit him up and ask him if he will personally come join us on the pod for an episode. Our good brother Rand Paul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He spoke earlier this week, and I want to play a clip of what he said. Maybe if there was sound. Hold on.
Deficit with Bangladesh.
Hold on.
It's leading us to believe that we're always being ripped off. We have a trade deficit with Bangladesh. We will always have a trade deficit with Bangladesh. They are poor and we are rich. The richest people in this dinner tonight all have a bigger trade deficit with Amazon than I do. The more money you have, the more you spend. Poor people don't have as much. They have less of a trade deficit. Bangladesh will never buy from us as much as we buy from them. But we're not getting poorer because we trade with Bangladesh.
Shout out RP, man.
Bro,
RP,
just dropping knowledge. Like, if his goal was to shorten the trade deficit, obviously that makes sense with some countries. Yeah. But it's not going to be. Are we ever really going to have a trade deficit? Is that ever going to switch with China? Probably not. Why? Because they make everything and we buy all the things.
Yep.
So are there areas where China is predatory? Absolutely, and we should be going after them. Are there places that a lot of these countries are predatory in how they charge us and some of those? Yes. But when you talk about levering 10% on everybody just because there's a trade deficit, it's the critical reading. It goes back to the PTP challenge.
Bruh.
Can you read a page out of a Harry Potter book before you get elected?
And I would even go a step further, and I would issue a questionnaire, and the first question on that questionnaire would be this: when you were in elementary school and parts of middle school, did you participate in accelerated reader? And if you did, what was your score? Were you comprehending on your grade level? And because some of this stuff is just it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's contextual reading. It is reading it, and then reading behind that. Like, oh, okay. It's almost as if they're seeing the number and saying, "Oh, we have a trade deficit," and not doing the necessary research. We see this with what the government's done with Doge, where like, oh yeah, we don't need this one study. Well, if you actually take the time, what the quote unquote transgender mice.
Bro.
if you did some reading right beyond it, you would understand that this was just to make specific genetic copies of mice so they could have consistent studies when they use them in these studies.
Transgender and transgenetic are not the same thing.
Vastly different things.
People think they got mice twirling in cages.
Right. Just going through. Like, so to your earlier answer, did he read it? No.
Yeah.
No. And you know how I know he didn't read it? Because it came out, I think yesterday was the first day that I heard it, that Tulsi Gabbard is reaching out to Fox News to get a producer or hire a producer for the White House to help create content, video content that they can show the president for his daily security briefings because he ain't reading them.
Bro, they got to get this man a picture book.
Bro, yes. Yes. Because he is not reading them.
And that should be, when you look at the magnitude of what he's trying to accomplish with tariffs, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence in knowing that the person who's implementing certain things within this trade or tariff war isn't up to snuff on the things that he needs to know knowledge-wise to get to the end goal. Because if he's not knowledgeable, then who is that saying, "Oh, yes, sir, that sounds like a good deal"? That sounds very tricky.
Trump reads me kind of like one of those people where if you say an idea, you use the right buzzwords, they're going to say, yeah, go with that without asking any further questions.
Bro.
So somebody saw this and said, yeah, this will work.
Yeah.
Now, the flip side of tariffs is we have had this year so far, we've had a 78% increase in the amount of tariff revenue. So far this year, the U.S. government has taken in $68.2 billion in tariff revenue. And if you're tracking from our previous episode, that's enough to go ahead and boost up immigration and try to do something on this wall that they've been trying to get through.
Yeah.
But, and just a side, I'll hold that side note. Let me go ahead and right now.
Hold the mustard.
So yeah. So all that being said, Trump is clearly in a pickle.
Yeah.
Around these, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that court case. Regarding that, and for those of you tracking, it's VOS Selections versus VOS Selections Inc. versus the United States. And because I think he has exceeded his authority because these are not emergencies. Like, had COVID been going on, I think it's like, okay, it's a weak connection, but hey, I can't argue with it being a national emergency, because if trade deficits were our national emergency, then, bro, we've been in a national emergency with some of these places for decades at this point.
Yeah, I need the difference to be clear in what a national security is and what national economy is. And I think that there needs to be a line that needs to be drawn. But you said something earlier that stuck out to me about, what Congress' role is in this. If this is something that Congress is supposed to be doing, why are they not doing it, and why are they letting him just respond the way he's responding? Is it that they're responding too slow to these economic threats, or what is it? Because it doesn't seem like that at least one-sided. It seems that there is no concern of what he's doing. And I mean, the only Republican at least I've seen speaking out is Rand Paul. Why are they not stepping up and saying, no, this is our job, the president's in out of line, he's overstepping his power and doing what he's doing?
Well, others have said it. Others have said it. They're not as popular, not as well known, not as, I won't say media friendly, but like the media is not picking up on some of the stuff that these particular people say if you're not from their area. But I think why he's doing it is clear, because Congress moves slow, and that's by design.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's the design of it.
Yeah, U.S. is a battleship. We turn very slowly. We have debate. With him essentially doing this ruling by executive orders.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, I hate Trump using executive orders. I hated Biden using executive orders. I hated Obama using executive orders. I hated Bush. Well, I didn't know as much, but in hindsight, I hated the use in the Bush administration. It's not we are not made to be governed by executive order.
No.
We're meant for it to go through Congress. We're meant for it to have debate.
Mm-hmm.
And for those 500 some odd people, 535. Sorry, let me give y'all the exact number. Yeah, I know the number. 535. It's made for those people to make that ultimate decision on whether we should do this as a country.
Yeah.
So, but this also shows the fragility and the problem that you get when you try to govern by executive order. It's going to get challenged.
Yep.
And it's going to go to court.
Yep.
So he
must love the courthouse, bro.
Boy, he probably got his own spot. Suite. I know one person who's a couple people, all these lawyers.
Bro.
Like, oh yes, we got lawsuits all day.
Yeah. I'm here for a long time.
And as these checks hit my account, a good time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. if he paying.
Right. Well, it's the federal government, so I don't think it's Trump specifically paying, but it's the White House. They're paying. Them invoices are getting sent, and somebody's signing off.
But with this, man, I just think that this is going to be very interesting how this is laid out. I don't think they haven't given us details about exactly when those arguments need to be due. It's just early June.
Early June or so. First 2 weeks. So
13 days.
Right now.
12 days. Yeah.
It could happen today. Well, as of recording, it's not going to happen today, but it could happen at any moment.
Yeah. Well, I think that when you look at how this tariff thing is playing out and the blow, you said earlier that this puts Trump in a pickle. I think that we have, he's been kind of in a pickle in various ways because, he's having some pushback with the tariffs and what he's doing. And then, we have what we talked about last episode. Shout out to LeVar Ball.
The BBB.
The BBB. The big...
The big,
LeVar, hey, shout out to LeVar, bro. Shout out to LeVar, bro.
Talking about good fathers. Let's talk about LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball, bro. A good dad,
good
bro.
present father, man.
Good present father, getting his kids over the finish line, bro. We ain't gonna get on that, but the big beautiful bill.
Oh, man.
This one big beautiful bill. The big, the bold, and it may be getting a little bit bitter. This bill is sitting now currently in the Senate. And we saw that there was some champion boy. You can always tell Mike Johnson, love when he get him a win, bro. That man be skinning and grinning, bro. When Daddy Trump come up to the house and he done came and got all the boys in line and told them what they need to do, and it was celebrated as being, we got the bill passed through the House, it's on to the Senate, and it got to the Senate and it smacked, smacked the wall,
And here's the thing, like, even though Mike Johnson's cheesing, some of his representatives who signed off on the bill.
Bro, they struggling.
And y'all, I want to play y'all a clip of a town hall. We'll get into the details of it in a second, but I want to play the clip from the town hall.
Can you please tell us why you voted to approve a budget bill that includes Section 70302, which effectively prohibits federal courts from enforcing contempt orders? Please let me read my question. I only got 30 seconds.
Let her read.
Which would then allow current and future administrations to ignore those contempt orders by removing the enforcement capabilities.
About to get torn up.
I do not agree with that section that was added to that bill. This provision was unknown to me when I voted for the bill.
What?
Okay, next question.
What?
Next question.
I am not going to hide the truth.
You know what? And I appreciate that.
No.
I appreciate it. I'm not going to hide the truth. So Mr. Flood, I got a question for you.
We got it.
Did you read the bill? It was unknown to you. How would it be unknown unless you read it,
bruh? So bruh, my follow-up question: well, why are you voting for something you ain't read,
bruh? Why?
Why are you voting for something that you have not read?
You know what, Mike Flood? I'm challenging you to take a part in the politics. I am personally going to make a trip up to DC. I'm going to do it after we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get myself on his calendar while I'm up there.
Yep.
And I'm going to challenge him to read.
Yep.
The first page of a Harry Potter book. Hey. Just to confirm that he can read.
You can pick it. Do you want the Prisoner of Azkaban?
Right.
Do you want the Half-Blood Prince? You can pick the book, but you got to read one page.
One page. I just got to know, can you read?
We got to check, can you read? Because, bro, we've said it here on the podcast before. And you said it, and this is just confirmation of what you've said. These people ain't reading these bills.
Ain't reading these bills.
So as the American people, we should be handing out the PTP challenge to everyone when midterm elections come up. We need to be going to these town halls, and you need to be asking these people that want to represent you in Washington to complete the PTP challenge on site. Because this is the problem that I have. In all seriousness, you're voting for something that affects the lives of American people. Now, while I applaud his honesty, you just disqualified the hell out of yourself.
Quickly. And the man's only been he's been in Congress.
Oh, he looked green.
Yeah, since 22.
Yeah, I was say he looked green. Mm-hmm. That answer was green because somebody seasoned wouldn't admitted that.
Look, them people in Nebraska, and if you guys are wondering, we did a little bit more research on him. He covers kind of like the central part of Nebraska, just south of Omaha. Definitely part of Lincoln and that area west of Omaha. And here's the crazy thing, geez, like, and the boldness of it, it's only a +6. And for it being a R6 district, like that's something real bold to do. That's probably also why he was having these sessions, is so he could, hey, I'm out there, I'm answering questions from the people. But sir, you might be in a pickle next year when that seat is up.
Oh, bro. Oh, I think he definitely in a pickle, because if I'm a Democrat, I'm running this clip.
Oh, if I'm a Democrat, if I'm a Republican.
Hey, bro, facts.
So, like,
if I'm trying to get you up out of here, you just gave me all the ammunition I need, which I want to say this. When election season comes around, if you need any consulting of how to get a leg up in the trolling game and really throw dirt better than any graveyard digger with a shovel, the boys at part of the politics can tell you how to get it done. Because I'm gonna tell you, I can think about 10 ways to rake coals up under this fella right here,
bruh, man.
Mike, he wouldn't have no career in politics the way after we got through with him.
Mike, you in a pickle, and we're not even at that part of the show yet. But
we ain't even got to that segment yet.
But you in a pickle, man. But you'll be hearing from us very soon.
Oh, facts, bro. We got
questions.
Bro, we might have to start dropping our own political campaign commercial content, bro. Just to get on the radar. They be like, who made this? Like, oh yeah, we ain't running for office. We just having fun.
We're just here. We just here.
But with the fallout in the Senate of this bill, and what's your over and under to think that is if anything of it getting passed?
Oh man. All right. So from everything I've read, they're trying to get this enacted by July 4th.
Hold on.
So
carry the 2.
They got about
3.
They got about a month.
Okay.
They got a little over the month at the time of recording, but and it's going to be a climb. It's going to be a climb. So
because just so I'm clear from a education perspective, if there's any revisions to be made to it,
it's got to go back to the House. They got to
send it back down, and then they got to come back up, right?
And Johnson has already said, don't send this back.
Oh, bro, no.
Don't send this. Look,
bro, no.
I done passed the test, okay? Look, I got
a food, bro. No.
I needed a 70 to pass this class. I got a 70.1. Sir, don't send this bill back, because I don't know if I can get this passed. And they only need to send it back if under budget reconciliation. If they get 60 votes, and sir, I would bet my entire life savings on the fact that this won't get 60 votes.
Nah.
But yeah, he's like, please don't send this back. He did it in a very nice political way. He's like, yeah, if you want to do minimal changes, yada, yada, yada. Like, bro, y'all in the pickle. Because currently right now, if we look at the Senate and we look at the makeup, there are 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats. So this needs to pass. Ignoring the whole reconciliation part that has to be done in the House because of this, if we just look at it passing, Republicans can afford to lose 3 people.
Okay.
And look, They got way more than 3 that they got more. So I'll quickly go through the list. First up, the man RP.
RP.
You are not going to raise our national debt and not have him say something about it. So shout out to RP. And before I continue this list, if you're a longtime listener of the pod, the episode that we did right after the election, and I covered the Republic, and we had a section where we talked about the Republicans that are going to be responsible for guiding and moderating this Congress. There's a lot of those names on this list. So our next up is Senator Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin.
Okay.
He warned that the Senate Republicans lack sufficient votes to pass his bill, how it is right now. And he is also concerned about the national deficit. Susan Collins.
I was about to say, I know she is on that list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's not big on the Medicaid cuts and the other provisions linked to the social programs. Lisa Murkowski also
I know she up there too.
Voices the same concerns around the healthcare and social programs. Jerry Moran raised issue with the Medicaid cuts and the elimination of the green energy tax credits.
Okay.
Yeah. Josh Hawley, apprehension about the provisions on social welfare programs, so Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, and everything. Those are six right off the gates. You can only use 3. So, and then even beyond that, you have Senator John Curtis out of Utah. He wants changes on the energy credit cuts in the bill. You have Mike Rounds, who's opposed spectrum auction provisions in the bill. And then you got Tom Tillis out of big old NC. So who's highlighting concerns over the green energy tax credits. It's almost like these guys are against not investing in the future of our economy and our infrastructure. So for those of you who are doing the math, it looks like at this time that we got 47 no's, all being Democrats. You have 3, they might be yeses, but you got to change these 3 things. And you got 6 that are like, nah. So Republicans have 44. They need to find 6 of this 9 to flip back to even be in the position for J.D. Vance to come in and break the tie. And y'all got a month to do this.
Bro, that's a very steep hill.
But it is and it doesn't help overarchingly when you have people like the good senator from Iowa, who was talking about the bill and talking about the Medicaid cuts. And I want to play you all a clip from some comments that she had today. Well, not today, earlier this week.
When you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits, 1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible, so they will be coming off. So people are not, we all are going to die.
That is such a... We are all going to die, which is factually correct.
Bro, hold on.
Oh, no. Well, but before you go,
bro.
So on Sunday, she said, oh, I'm getting backlash. Well, let me get out here and let me clear it up.
Brad.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Now before we go further, I agree with her last statement.
No, bro.
Please find Jesus.
Man.
If you want eternal life, please find Jesus. He is the
man.
But on to the video.
She spit, bro. Did she spin the apology as sarcasm and then try to lead souls to Christ, bro? I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how evangelism works.
I'm not an expert in it, but I don't think so either.
Yo, hey man. I didn't see the double down. That got me, bro. That got me weak. Bro, but yo, stop having town halls.
The tooth fairy.
Stop having town halls.
No. Keep having the town halls because I need these people to go up under these coals.
Hey, bro, you're right. But this is the crazy thing, bro. With election season coming down the hall before we know it, they are putting themselves in a pickle. I mean, she is right.
We all are going, but I'm not trying to get there before the
said it. We all gonna perish at some point in time, bro. The perish is what got me, bro. Oh my god. But in what the lady in the audience was speaking of, to me it shows, and going to the clip that you played earlier with the guy, there's a frustration within these individuals because you're having to do your job. You're going to Washington and you're signing for stuff, and I want to know why you're signing for it if it has these consequences, and then you're getting frustrated or look like you don't know exactly what you're doing.
You're getting angry because how dare they question you?
Wait a minute. Isn't this kind of like
authoritarianism?
Thank you.
Maybe just a little like come see, come sign. Yeah.
Bro, but we're sending these people to Washington. And maybe this speaks to a bigger problem. Maybe people need to really pay attention to who they're sending to Washington and stop just going down the ballot and saying, I'm voting for every Democrat or I'm voting for every Republican. Because just who you may be sending may not have ever cracked open a Harry Potter book.
Definitely not cracked open.
It's obvious. It's obvious.
It's clear,
bro. We got to go to Congress and just roam the halls, bro. They gonna start seeing us coming with them Harry Potter books and run the other way. Oh no, the PTP challenge!
They're here. We might have to open a whole fund, bail out the boys,
bro.
But it's so. Not to completely go down this side road because we'll be down here for hours.
Yep.
But there has been a fundamental shift in politics, especially on the Republican side, where Republicans are no longer fiscally conservative. I would say largely, Democrats for a while, up pre-2016, were socially liberal, but also fiscally liberal. Or perceive fiscally liberal. Perceive fiscally liberal. Where Republicans were socially conservative and fiscally conservative. Well, now on the Republican side, we are seeing, if we're looking at this bill, we're seeing Republicans who are socially conservative but fiscally liberal.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa. If y'all are not going to be the fiscally conservative party, who is now the fiscally conservative party? Who is going to lead that movement? And I think Trump is aware. I think if you look back in the history of Republican nominees and candidates, have always had this strong grounding in fiscal conservatism. And we're not seeing that anymore. It is now the grounding in the Republican Party is one of social conservatism over fiscal conservatism. And that's new for us in this phase that we're in. So it'll be interesting to see what they do and how they kind of move through this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this bill has some issues. One of the issues that we didn't bring up last week was the changes to the SNAP.
Yeah.
And the work requirements. Previously, if you were taking care of a non-adult, and I say that very specifically, a non-adult, basically someone under the age of 18, you were exempted from work requirements. Well, also in this big, beautiful bill, they lowered that age from 18 to 7.
Wow.
So if you're taking care of an 8-year-old, well, if this passes, you would now be required to work to receive benefits. Now, I don't know about you all, but I know about me. And as Biggie said, I grew up a screw up. I've blown off almost half of my face with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 13 at that time.
Bruh.
So, we got it. We don't have the infrastructure to try to do all these things that they want to do in a responsible way.
Yeah, I agree.
And if we don't take a time to really think about it, we're going to be in a situation. But I think now what you're going to see over the last month is a lot of people starting to rally against it. You heard Elon. Elon's come out against this bill because I think we all realize the math isn't mathing.
Mm-hmm.
We can't keep charging more than we bring in. That's the basics of economics.
Yep.
And at this rate, I think somebody said over the next 10 years, we could be approaching almost 56 trillion in national debt. We are currently right now, if we take our entire GDP and dedicate it to our national debt, we still have 22% of that original debt that we still have to take care of.
Mm.
Our national debt is 122% of our GDP right now. That's super dangerous. That's also why you saw us lose our credit standing.
Yep.
Is because of that balance. And it can
And we're
only
talking
be
about
done
trying to add to that?
$5 trillion for what? For what?
Nah.
So it'll be interesting how everyone ramps up because you got the National Association of Social Workers, the American Public Health Association, Feeding America has come out, Wall Street Analysts have come out. It's almost like how much more civil rights organizations, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Center for Humane Technology, the ACLU, Lambda Legal, the American Constitution Society.
It sounds like Avengers Endgame.
Bruh.
Getting everybody.
The Committee for Responsible Federal Budgeting, the Concord Coalition. We have so many people coming out against this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at most of this, it's a good portion of this is like, hey, we're spending too much. We ain't got it.
Yeah.
One of the things that my dad told me, he's like, son, if you're going to travel, and I've heard other people say it, but my dad also said this as well. He's like, if you're going to travel and you can't afford airfare, hotel, and feed yourself, and come back and not know where your next month of bills is, how's it going to be taken, you can't afford to take that trip.
Bingo. Wise words from a wise man.
Right. When are we finally just going to say, hey, y'all,
we ain't got it.
We can't afford to take that trip?
What Martin say? I ain't got the five.
I ain't got the five. I ain't got it.
We ain't got it.
Can I put something on it?
You know, but from all these people signaling that this is not in the betterment of America, why is it that what is it that the president is seeing that all these people are not seeing that suggests to him that this is the way to go?
his bank account.
Right. I mean, because it just if everything and everyone for the most part is saying, bro, this ain't happening. What then is your driving motive to say, no, I gotta keep this is the direction we need to go in?
I mean, the only things that I feel like I've heard in regards to this bill and why people support it is like, oh, he's making things safer. He's keeping people safe. We got to do what we got to do to protect our finances and protect ourselves from the illegal immigrants because we don't want criminals on the street. And on that whole criminals on the street thing, I believe Trump just pardoned a lot of people.
That may be pardoning criminals.
Bro, Trump, I don't want criminal. They're sending the worst of the worst. They're releasing their criminals on our street. 10 minutes later, Trump releases criminals onto our streets. Like,
and then his reason being they were mistreated. Bro, what?
Bro.
They supposed to be.
I'm the Chrisleys.
Bro.
How y'all get out?
Shout out to the Chrisleys because Todd is hilarious to me. But he should be in jail.
He should be in jail.
He should be in jail.
You stole that money.
And please don't act like you didn't.
Right.
Yeah, you already said, hey, I'm the diddler. I might have to look into that too.
But
I feel like he's going to start getting to this because of the notoriety that he's getting, the publicity that he gets from pardoning people. I feel like he's about to start treating that now like it's airtime fare for him just to be able to get out and they're going to talk about it and it gets everybody off of talking about this and that issue.
And look, I will give it to Trump. The dang it, I can't remember the name of the bill. The criminal justice bill that he signed in his first administration was some of the largest sweeping criminal justice reform bill that we've seen come through federally in decades. Mm-hmm. And definitely salute to him and his team in getting that done. But to just sweepingly using the pardon power, like, bro, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Trump that he Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
he's just throwing them out there, bro.
At some point, we got to stop throwing mud against the wall to see if it'll stick, and not calling pardons mud because like there are lots of people out there who we know are jailed unfairly. Yep. And I think what this administration has done in appointing a pardon czar, someone strictly responsible for looking into people that need and deserve to be pardoned, I think it's a fantastic idea. We know there are holes in our criminal justice system. So the idea that we would have someone whose sole job to direct contact with the administration on people who need to be pardoned, even though there's another organization, but we're having someone directly be there, still fine. I think anything we can highlight towards the issue of unfair imprisonment is something we should do. But who are we pardoning?
Right.
I mean, it's my next question. What about Tiger King?
Well, he got a little mad about his, and then it was rumored that Trump hasn't ruled out the Tiger King.
What about R. Kelly? Is he gonna get back on these streets? If you
free
Diddy,
bruh, you got to free Robert.
Like, not saying either of them should be free because R. Kelly has been convicted of doing all the things that he did.
Diddy is pending.
Diddy is pending. But I listened to one documentary and it sounded like he definitely shot that person that Shine went to prison for.
Bruh.
But that's another podcast for another day.
We don't want no smoke.
We don't want no smoke. No smoke.
But to end the segment though, I think that I agree with you with the time frame of how long it's going to take to actually get this bill done, and they only have a month. In the uphill battle they have with needing the votes that they need, I
don't think they're going to do it.
I just don't see it.
Not in this form.
Nah.
In this form, and not in a form.
Nah.
Because let's say they do it. Let's say they actually get it done. It's got to go back to the House because you're going to have to make mass revisions of this for this to work. It's got to go back to the House, and I don't know if it'll pass there.
Yep.
I mean, because also at the rate that, representatives are passing and just people not being available to vote, and summertime because we know Congress people love to take their summers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in a situation that there's no way this happens before the 4th. Now, I could be wrong. We've been wrong on this podcast before.
Not often, but we've been wrong.
But I just don't see how it passes in this form.
I agree. I agree with you 100%, brother. We will keep our eye on it and see what happens because the clock is ticking.
TikTok.
And they better do something and something quick. And I think that somebody better get to work. Somebody better get to work and get to work quick. So we'll see what happens. More on the BBB, the big beautiful bill. As we move on through the episode, and you've already been signaled that we've talked about pickles so much. Pause. That we've already had a number of pickles already for the episode, but we are now at the segment in our episode where we have our pickle of the week.
We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle.
Hey. Another pickle of the week.
The official pickle of the week.
The official pickle of the week. All right. So the official pickle of the week. The pickle of the week isn't a person or necessarily a group of people. The pickle of the week is none other than Japan. Shout out to Japan.
We got to go there.
We got to go to Japan, bro.
Look, we got to go. Yeah, look, it's going to be a rough trip for you because at some point I'm going to go search for Pokemon cards. So
I'll come along, man.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Come along. Yeah, I support my brother's endeavor. But for the first time in 34 years, Japan has lost its status as the world's top creditor nation. The
just
title
like us.
that is held, they've held this title since 1991. And the crown, there's a new champion now. The crown now goes to Germany, marking a historical. I know, bro. I know, right?
Wow.
Marking a historical financial shift that has economists raising their eyebrows and policymakers breaking into cold sweats. So, Japan's net external assets, essentially the value of what it owns abroad minus what it owes, dropped to 3.1 trillion in 2023, down 380 billion from the year prior. Meanwhile, Germany's has risen to 3.8 trillion, which has allowed them to take the lead.
Come for that number one spot.
Mm-hmm. So while this isn't just bragging rights, does this signal something deeper from an economic standpoint? A weaker yen has inflated Japan's overseas liabilities. Investment returns abroad have taken a hit. And also, you got to realize that Japan's aging population and slow growth are creating long-term pressure on its global economic standing. So with all that being said, is this a sign of Japan's slow slide from becoming an economic superpower? And what does this mean for the U.S. and Japan relations, especially with the U.S. looking for allies to counterbalance China? And lastly, are we seeing a reshuffling of the global financial leadership board?
Oh man, look, there's episodes in that. Here's my biggest question. Is how much of this is tied to the U.S.? Because currently, I believe Japan holds probably like 1.1 trillion in U.S. treasuries. So is this a case where us starting to get shaky is starting to bring down everyone else who's tied very closely to us? And if that ends up being the case, it's a lot of pressure on a lot of people to figure this out.
bruh, a whole lot of people. So this is telling, bruh, of Japan having this shift. But whenever the world saving account changes hands, someone's in a financial pickle. And for this week, Japan is in that financial
that's
pickle,
you.
brother. So good luck, Japan. Shout out to y'all. Sorry for losing the #1 spot. Shout out, hey, what's up, Germany? Since y'all #1, we at least gotta say, hey, just in case,
y'all.
just in case. Y'all ain't ready for the hey big head yet.
Yeah, what's good? Just hey, what's up? What y'all doing over there?
Checking in, seeing what's good. But Japan, shout out to y'all and our listeners over there. We got some international listens as well too. So shout out Japan. And whenever the boys decide, Lord willing, we make it international and we get global, we need y'all to roll out the red carpet for us to have a little tour stop.
Come show the boys some love.
Show the boys some love. So that is my pickle of the week. So as we have reached the conclusion of our episode, as always, we like to give you, the listeners, our spotlights of the week. So my brother, what are your spotlights for the week?
All right. So let's Elon stepped down from Doge, but we're not here to talk about that particular part. But I am going to talk about one of his entities, XAI. And XAI has built a facility outside of Memphis, and I can't really do it justice. So I'm going to have Elizabeth Booker.
In relation to Cory Booker?
I don't know. I might have to find that out.
Okay.
But let's go to her.
I'm currently outside of XAI, which is the new supercomputer that the South African scammer has put in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, specifically in South Memphis, which is the blackest, poorest area of Memphis, Tennessee. So it smells terrible out here. The stench is horrible, and that's because of the air pollution that is going on. We know that there's about 35 gas turbines being used by this facility right now, and the Southern Poverty Law Center believes that is a violation of the Clean Air Act. But on top of that, this facility requires about 1 million gallons of water per day to cool down the supercomputer. The problem is Memphis sits on top of a natural aquifer, deep groundwater, pure good water that comes out of our tap. And for decades, activists have tried to protect the water because there's constant threats to it, including this right here, okay? Now, they say they're going to build a gray water recycle facility in partnership with the TVA down the street. But the problem is that's only going to reduce the strain on the aquifer by about 9%. And they're still going to dump about 80% of that water into the Mississippi River, which who knows what that will do to the environment as they're dumping that in there, okay? They have purposely put this facility here in a black city in America, again, in one of the poorest, blackest neighborhoods in the city, because they want to get away with all of these clean air and clean water violations. And this isn't just going to impact the people around here, okay? If you live out in East Memphis, if you live out in Bartlett or Collierville or whatever, and you're not smelling the air because you're not right on top of it, baby, we drink the same water. The air moves around. This is going to make so many people sick. There's no need for this supercomputer. All it's doing is it's harming our environment. It's harming our water. It's going to make our children sick. It's going to make elderly people in the area sicker. This is not a solution. This is not anything that's going to be of use to anybody in this city.
So XAI.
Shout out to her, bro. Speak your truth, queen.
So XAI has built this very huge facility, an operation of Colossus, a massive supercomputer facility, which XAI promises will cause an economic revitalization. But there's a lot of issues. It's about $12 billion investment to build Colossus in a former factory. So the facility aims to power XAI's Gork model, as well as Musk's other ventures like SpaceX, Twitter, and has been touted as being transformative. And they got a tax-free incentive deal by the mayor in the city, largely because the project was expected to create hundreds of jobs and generate a lot of property tax revenue. But issues with the water and clean air. So right now there's back and forth that is happening right now. Shelby County Health Department is reviewing XAI's application for 15 air pollution permits. So they expect those to come back in midsummer, that review. Either they'll get approved with conditions or emissions, or they'll be denied, forcing them to shut down the air turbines or dramatically alter them. So the EPA is involved. The NAACP has exploring litigation under environmental racism and violations of the Clean Air Act. So if that's successful, it could temporarily halt the project. So that is that's what's going on with XAI. And, I realize here at the pod, we've gone very, very far in this episode, and we haven't hit our other theme music. So
could lead the episode.
Oh yeah. So, if you've been following, Plantier Technology is a data analytics firm co-founded by Peter Thiel. Mm-hmm. They've just entered a partnership with the U.S. federal government to develop a centralized data platform. Basically, the initiative is backed by the Trump administration and aims to consolidate extensive personal data from various agencies, including the IRS, the Social Security, Immigration Services, into a unified system powered by Plantier's Gotham system software. Bro, why? Why is all of this data being housed outside of the federal government? We can barely keep our own, and you're going to tie that all together into a giant external database that is in a non-governmental controlled facility? Look, our tinfoil hat community is going to go wild with this one.
Rightfully so.
As they should. It is a $795 million contract that, to my understanding, was not bidded on. No one else bid on it, or no one else was given the opportunity to bid. Both seem strange because Amazon is a place, Microsoft is a place, IBM is a place that could also house this data. So it just went to them. That sounds mighty suspicious.
Hey, tinfoil hat community.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, you have your homework.
Mm-hmm.
You have your homework. Get to work. Get to work. We need to know.
We need to know. But I'm just saying this is probably not a good idea.
Right.
And by probably, I mean definitely not a good idea.
Definitely not a good.
But those are my spotlights of the week. What you got for us, Jeez?
Well, in here in our great state of North Carolina, can't help to have some attention drawn to us. And I know we talked previously in an episode about North Carolina, the western side of the state that was affected by the hurricane, were denied relief from their president, Donald Trump. But now Trump is attacking North Carolina again. And the Trump administration, or the Trump DOJ, is suing North Carolina over voter registration. The DOJ filed a federal lawsuit against North Carolina State Board of Elections, alleging violations of the Help America Vote Act. They stated that roughly 225,000 voter registration forms may be missing required ID numbers, either a driver license number or the last four of a social security number. And the DOJ claims that this violates federal law. So what the DOJ has demanded is that the state must contact all affected voters within 30 days and bring their registrations into compliance. So why this matters is that with local elections coming up, this case could reshape how states handle incomplete voter records and fuel the national debate over voting rights versus election security. So, with this happening and this having to be handled and this lawsuit that is taking place, how will this shape our next election cycle? Will there be we've seen the battle that happened with the Supreme Court and how that shaped and took place and how nasty that became and how long and drawn out that became. Could we see errors being handled, in a manner that could really lose a certain quality amount of votes? I don't know the number. I mean, mine is the 225,000. I don't know the consistency or the regularity of which this happens. Nor do I know, how severe this is. If it's just missing a number or a driver's license, are they insinuating as if these may be placed in ballots to sway the votes? I don't know if that's the case because North Carolina seemed to have voted in relation to how it always votes.
Right. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. We are a weird state.
We do
what we want.
I don't think that the election turned out any different than how we all thought it was going to turn out. Nobody thought that Mark Johnson was going to win.
Mark Robinson?
I won't gonna call it. I was trying to be nice.
Nah, Mark Robinson. We knew Mark Robinson wasn't gonna win.
We knew he wasn't gonna win.
Knew it.
We seen videos on social media where people was like, "So you're voting for Mark Robinson?" They're like, "Like, bro, we knew that." So what are we really arguing about these 225,000? Where in the votes did this get swayed? Like, come on. But needless to say, North Carolina is the spotlight of how this lawsuit will be handled, and it just seems like there's a lot of complexities that are happening in North Carolina. We finally settled one with the Supreme Court, and now here we are with another. So, that's my spotlight of the week of how this will be handled. And Josh Stein, man, you got your plate full, man.
Yeah.
You got your plate full, brother.
Hurricane season is upon us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And with the things that we talked about in the previous episode and not being able to have what we need maybe federally, that could definitely certainly impact a lot of North Carolinians. So with that being said, that is my spotlight. This is our episode 22. We thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all of our listeners. Be on the lookout, as we stated earlier in the episode, of the merch that will be coming soon. We're working out the details of everything. We hope that you'll like what we have, and you will most importantly support what we have, as you've done so far in your listenership, and continue to spread the love and the content of which we have here at Pardon the Politics. So with that being said, my heart and mind is clear, brother. Anything else? Anything from you?
You think Mark Robinson got invited to a Diddy party?
He should.
I'm just wanting.
He's of the same fan variety. If
right,
for our listeners, if you know what fan means, then he's of the fan variety. and so I would not be if he wasn't. He definitely could.
He might be.
He may be the the Eastern North Carolina diddler.
Stop.
He might be the Eastern North Carolina diddler, bro. He'd be like a copycat.
Yes. All right, but my heart and mind are clear.
Now it's clear.
Now it's clear. It popped in my head. We hadn't said his name in a while, and I was like, I wonder.
Well, as that being said, that is the conclusion of our episode. To our listeners, as we always tell you, don't nobody love you. Just know the boys here at Pardon the Politics. We indeed love you. We hope this episode finds you in good spirit, in good health, and that we will see you at the next episode. So take care, world.